Well, here we go. Game 3. We ended off the previous game where you guys had found your way farther into the forest, deeper still, and met up with a track that was going through the forest, a road. You ran into a driver who let you know that he was on his way to the dig site for the geologists, and really didn't have a lot of time for you. He was clearly in a hurry. As you made your way along the road, you spotted a glint in the light and realized that there was a scope pointing towards you. Luckily, the person behind that scope was not yet aware of your presence, and you all ducked into cover, where Nora made her way very quietly and carefully up to the side, while Chester was also watching him with his rifle at the ready. Nora surprised what turned out to be Eugene Clayton and fired a shot into his side as he tried to make his way off into the forest, followed by Chester, or vice versa. Chester hit him, and then Nora did. Either way, doesn't really matter. Did near fatal damage, and he was severely wounded. You guys rushed over to his side and were able to not just stabilize him with first aid, but actually managed to fully stabilize him with your medicine skills, and were able to talk to him and find out that his partner had run off. Sydney had run off, leaving him into the forest to go back to the cabin where they were holding the girl. What was her name? Jane? Bring that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jane Strong. There you go. Good. I did remember it. Second guessing myself. Anyway, so he told you the direction to said cabin, and you guys spent the night there on the side of the road, up on a bluff just near it, where you recuperated and all experienced disturbing dreams, varying sorts. These led to more losses in sanity and a disadvantage on a penalty die on Constitution rolls for Mr. Watts for the rest of the day. So waking up in the morning and in the middle of the night, you also had heard a sound of an explosion in the distance and blue light scattered across the low-hanging clouds. But otherwise, got through the night. And we're on your way to the north to try and track down the missing cabin. And you found your way into a clearing. This clearing appears to be potentially the camp for the artists. You see, I believe, three. Let's see. You see 4 sleeping tents and 2 larger tents in this clearing. There's some signs of a struggle, and you do not immediately see anybody about. I believe that is where we left it last week. Correct me if I'm wrong. If there's anything anybody else wants to add in terms of our recap. Well, with that, I'll leave it up to you. How do you guys approach this situation upon moving into this clearing where these tents are set up?
Thomas is gonna hide if he can.
So, I think Chester was the one who noticed. Oh no, that we stealthed. Never mind. That was the stealth check. Never mind. But I guess Chester would be in the front. So once he saw the clearing and the tents, he would kind of motion for everyone to stay back. As he went forward to investigate.
Assuming nobody is completely ignoring him and going on running into the clearing in front of him.
Is it the fifth path?
So Chester, Mr. Galloway, proceeds into the clearing, presumably weapon at the ready just in case anything happens, looking around. He sees, as I mentioned, some signs of struggle and that the place clearly has been abandoned in a hurry. but does not see any actual signs of life immediately in the area. Like no noises and nobody moving around.
He would he would
Go ahead.
like kind of using his gun as a stick, kind of like open one of the tents and be like, "Anybody still here?" Kind of not announcing himself, not trying to stealthily investigate this.
So moving between the tents, you look into the four smaller tents, each one obviously like a tent for people. Some of these would have been for couples, while others were for single people. And you see that there are signs of obviously relatively recent inhabitation, but no signs of people in any of these tents. You do see that they are a bit messed up, but certainly there are possessions and such intact within these tents.
I'm gonna look for tracks that lead out, like from the campsite into the forest.
Sure. Give me a spot hidden or a track check. Roll.
While
Click
he is looking for trash, can I take a closer look at some of the possessions they left behind, to try and find if there's any journals or sketchbooks or anything that might tell us anything about what's been going on here?
Yeah, once Chester realized that there was no one here, he probably would have signaled to everyone that it was safe to come out.
Obviously, you did not check the two larger tents, though those would be more obviously not inhabited. One of them appears to be at a glance like a cooking tent, and the other one has some art stuff going on inside, although you haven't looked at them closely. I will say then, in terms of your immediate looking around the area before everybody else joins you, looking for tracks, you do clearly see signs of a bloody trail heading off into the forest, which you could surmise would be the person that you found dead further to the south. You do see some signs of Sydney Harris potentially passing through the area. At least there's a single set of tracks that's going the direction you were told to go by Eugene Clayton towards this cabin. And you do see a whole bunch of tracks related to what was obviously a commotion that happened within this area. A little hard to figure out exactly whether there was combat, whether people were fighting each other, whether it was just a general upset and panic. But then the tracks do all continue off to the east into the forest to guess not quite the same direction as any of the others.
So this camp is in a clearing, right?
It is in a clearing.
Okay, so there's no point in looking up.
Said there were 3 paths?
Yes, there is a path for the person, like a bloody path of the escaping, somebody who escaped the camp in the commotion. There is a path towards the north that is going the direction that you were told the actual cabin for the kidnappers is. And then there is quite a few different feet coming and going from the east.
I would relay that to everyone once they got close, and say, "Yeah, well, it looks like from what I gather, it looks like what was his name? I just forgot his name.
Eugene?
Sydney?
Yeah, Harris.
Sydney Harris.
It looks like Harris ran into these artists on his way back to his cabin, and some kind of fight broke out here, and someone we found was wounded and ran off that way, and then it looks like everyone else went off that way. But there wasn't any blood on the trail for the other guys, right? Any of the other 2 paths didn't have blood?
No. They do not show any signs of particularly of blood the way that the one trail does.
Well, maybe.
Right.
Oh, sorry. You go.
Do I see any notebooks or anything like that? Right?
Yeah. So while you guys are talking about this, Nora makes a beeline for the tents to try and look through them for any clues. Hunting through these tents, you do obviously, as I mentioned, see that some of these tents were for couples, and the other 2 were for just single occupants. But then digging through them, you are able to easily enough find specifically a notebook, as well as some general pads and paper, and some unfinished canvases of paintings. Though they seem to be of no particular import, but there is specifically a notebook.
I will flip through the notebook.
It will take you a little while to read the notebook in some depth, so I will say you're doing that while other people are doing some other things for the immediate future.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sort of skimming reasonably quickly, but looking for like familiar references like yellow leaves and creepy dreams and just stuff like that.
Okay, so what? Oh, there you go. What are you gonna do?
I was gonna. So Brady is gonna go through here and just kind of at a high level scavenge through the camp to see if there's any like maybe historical artifacts or like maybe some things that might not seem in the place of a person that's out here in a camp doing things out in the wilderness. Is there anything that's just obviously not supposed to be there?
Give me a spot hidden.
While he's doing that, I'll just take a picture and then check at the what artwork they've done later.
Sure. So first off, for Mr. Brady, he is looking through these tents and checking each of them. You don't find anything particularly unusual. This is clearly an artist camp. I mean, there's obviously some signs you've already seen, but you're digging into it further only confirms that. Really looks like they were a pretty average group. You do see some unusual signs, as I mentioned, of like a scuffle, of stuff being thrown around, of supplies being trampled, both in the cooking tent and in the arts tent. There are easels that are smashed. That there are paintings thrown around on the ground, and obviously various signs of panic and people then leaving with some hurry. But beyond that, no specific unusual items or things out of place. No, I will quickly. Sorry, before we for that, I will say that in doing a final check and pointing around where he saw these tracks, Chester does notice on the edge of the clearing in the bush that there is a discarded hat and hunting rifle lying there off to one side. Clearly not something that would likely be a possession of the artists.
Are you sure we should be rifling through all this stuff? I mean, like, if they all ran off this way, and we need to go that way, and the other guy we found went that way, then like, should we not just leave this all here for the police? For when we go find this girl, come back, report it to the police, and let them know it's here? Like, perhaps you should just record everything into Benjamin's microphone thingy-majiggy?
The police are notoriously slow about these things. Besides, the dreams that we're all having seem to be localized and unpleasant, perhaps dangerous. It's best we have all the information. If the artists were also affected, that may have had something to do with their standoff here.
That's a fair point, and do let me know if you come across any symbols which look like the safety symbol things, protection that I got for you. So if you keep an eye out for anything like that for me, please.
Was their art any good?
So I was going to come back to that, the art. I will say from your rich people expertise, it's relatively amateurish art. A few of them show some signs of potential. As you go through them, the art that you look at as you're going through these different easels. One that catches your eye initially is an owl on a branch peering out into the dark. There's another quite good one of a deer that's looking through trees and otherwise deserted wood. There's a moon shining down through the trees above. Obviously, traditional forest themes. But then another catches your eye, a path snaking its way through the trees, the ground covered in dead yellow leaves. Another, a dilapidated old cabin, the door open and the dark outline of a figure within. And finally, a figure seen from behind, looking out onto the black waters as something horrible rises up out of the lake. This last one in particular triggers memories of the dream that you had just the night before, and you can do a sanity check.
Yes.
You briefly feel the bile rise in your throat, but you gulp it back down and shake away the feeling at the last moment, realizing that there is some weird connection here with what you've seen before, but it's something that you've managed to steel yourself for and otherwise escape with your sanity unscathed.
He'll be looking through the artwork while they were talking, and after they're finished, he'll say, "This artwork is really quite pedestrian. I've seen better artwork from the most novice students at Middlebury, where I attended recently." And then kind of trails off a little bit when he comes to the one of the cabin, and then especially at the lake.
Are any of you else guys are going to go over and also inspect this this artwork?
Am I looking at the journal at this point?
You would still be reading the journal if you interrupt yourself to go over and look at it. I would say like that in terms of the amount of time that's passed. If you want to try and skim through this, that you're probably like another couple minutes.
Okay, I will stick to looking at the journal then, since that's a one-person thing, and let them take a look at the art.
I'll say aloud, there is a painting of a cabin here. I wonder if it's the one that we're headed to.
I'll be on a bunch of baloney. You okay, Benjamin? You went a bit quiet there. It's not like you.
I was just taken aback at this last painting. It's like my dream, but that couldn't possibly be related.
Let me see. And I'll take a look.
So you see, yes, exactly that. The painting of a figure seen from behind, looking out onto the black waters as something horrible rises from a lake. This is not specifically one of the dreams that you're familiar with. So you do understand that this has been told to you by your companions, but is not something that specifically for you, Mr. Watts, triggers anything.
This seems like uncanny to the dreams you told.
You would recall that it was Mr. Baker, or sorry, it was Miss Baker and Mr. Brady who specifically had dreams of this sort.
It's uncanny to Mr. Brady and who was the other one?
Miss Baker.
Miss Baker. Miss Baker's dreams. It sounds just like this is what I imagined when they told us their dreams.
Just hearing them talk about the paintings and like some of the similarities that I would have had with the dream, just kind of overhearing it. Brady just kind of walks over and Mr. Proctor, would I be able to inspect these paintings as well? I need to see for my own eyes.
I'm sure that the artist had no idea what he was doing. He just stumbled across some deeper, darker, and then he stares at the painting for a couple more seconds and then offers it to Mr. Brady.
So looking at the paintings, Mr. Brady has immediate flashes of recognition. This is exactly the dream that he remembers. And looking at the others there, he also remembers the dilapidated cabin, the person standing with an outline in the door. Both of these immediately strike him, and he has flashes back to those dreams and makes a sanity roll. The feeling as this washes over him of not just one, but two of these paintings bearing striking resemblance to the dreams, almost uncanny that they exactly reference the things that he had seen. He immediately reels backwards and gasps, dropping them, throwing them to the ground, and rolls 1d10.
Oh, big roll.
Mr. Brady, they were bad, but
Oof. All right. This is our first madness. So yeah, not only does he react violently, not violently, react violently to them in terms of throwing it to the ground, but, and we will use the. All right. Oh, geez, here we go.
Oh.
I just ripped my book.
Oh no.
but it was so young.
Oh, it's all
Now you roll in sanity check.
right. That was 16. You now have a mania. You have an excessive liking for solitude. And the initial way that this manifests is that you feel that you must be away from the other members of this group. You look at each of them as they are oppressively looking towards you as you've cried out. And you start backing away, looking one way and the other, sweat pouring down from your forehead. You make your way slowly towards the edge of the clearing.
See him start walking away, kind of do a double take at the painting. Yes, I suppose the color choice was really quite pedestrian.
Mr. Brady. Wait, Mr. Brady, are you okay? I'm gonna, here, do you want some hooch to calm you down? Hey.
He shakes his head no, and you can see the look in his eyes as he looks from one of you to the other very quickly and continues to start picking up speed, turning away as he makes his way towards the edge of that clearing.
So I would
Guys.
imagine that Chester is still outside and like he's near that bush where you found the gun and hat and kind of just inspecting that general area.
Yeah.
And which way would Mr. Brady be going? Like near me, near Chester?
Not exactly near you. He's trying to get away from people. But you'd probably back the way that you guys had come, which you wouldn't be too far away from. You'd probably be off sort of like 40 degrees to the side.
I would
Uh,
kind of
sorry, I
call
was gonna
out to
yell
him
out to you.
like,
Yeah.
Mr. Brady, you okay?
He shakes his head and mumbles something and starts making his way more quickly, walking towards the edge of the clearing.
I said, Chester, he looks at these paintings and all of a sudden he's gone crazy. Where's the Seamus? Where's Miss your name is not on this thing. Miss Baker, where's Miss Baker?
So at this point, I'm going to hand the control back to you, Chris, for control of Mr. Brady. It is up to you as to how you play this out. He is currently in the middle of a bout of madness where he must be alone.
Okay. So in that state, I have a burning desire to not be around anyone, like be away from me and
Yes,
Okay.
be alone as much as you can possibly be. No better place than the middle of the woods for you to find yourself entirely alone. If only you can get away from your companions.
oh my god. All right. All right. So I guess hearing Chester and Thomas, I'm just gonna. I don't know, like, how far would they be away from me? Because I'm already kind of going towards the woods, and so I've probably already. I'm not in the clearing anymore, right?
Yeah, you would be basically right at the edge of the clearing at this point, which is why I
Okay.
gave you control back.
So I guess you probably just hear me kind of like yell out, just leave me alone. this is more than I signed up for, and I guess I'm just kind of fast pacing it into the woods.
You're like,
Chester
"Huh,
will.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Does he say, huh? Oh, okay. More money to us, I guess.
Hearing the commotion, Nora will kind of poke her head out of the tent, still looking at the notebook. Well, that was odd, but you really think he'll get back to town on his own, all right?
Yeah, Chester would be trying to follow, but like, Mr. Brady, it's not safe in these woods to travel alone. You should stay near us until we're ready to head back. We need to find Miss Jane, Miss Strong.
Say, give me a persuasion
Oh, I don't know if Chester's very good at that.
or fast talk.
Persuade. Yeah. Not very good.
Oof.
Ouch. 10?
Yeah,
That's a rough one.
Didn't really put points in speech.
Hmm.
All
maybe,
right.
maybe you should just take a seat right now. We'll stay over here. You stay there. Just take a minute, take a breath, and then let's talk about it in a couple of minutes.
You're trying to talk him out of leaving.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I'm just
not.
not leaving. I'm just saying, take a knee kind of thing. Just take a sit down. We will keep our distance.
Okay, well, you give me a persuade or I guess fast talk.
Frickin' hell. I've failed 90% of my rolls.
He disappears into the tree line, I would say, at this point in time.
I guess he may be
Kinda-
behind us, guys.
Seeing him completely disappear, kind of half yell into the forest. Oh, where'd my notes go? There we go. I do hope you still intend on finishing your appraisal of my cousin Oscar. The family would be quite upset. Trying to, I don't know, I guess it's not particularly intimidating, but there's trying to threaten at least somewhat with the family's work.
I will say that as he disappears through the tree line, he falls to his knees and finds himself finally alone. The world initially swims around him, and he feels his heart beating, thudding against his chest. The perspiration continuing to drip from his forehead falls down in a patter upon the leaves on the forest floor. He looks around and realizes he is alone. As the madness subsides, whatever. As the madness goes down, he starts coming back to his senses. He still feels a compulsion to be on his own, but he feels like he can master it now, at least. It's something that may plague him for the coming days, hours, maybe less, maybe more. It's something that he feels deep inside of himself that he would be more comfortable alone. But now he finally feels that he might have the power to return to the group. If he so chooses. So from here, it is up to you to choose whether or not you role play the fact that you are under the effect of this mania. Based on the roll that I did, it is continuing to be there, underlying below the surface for the next 7 hours.
So I'm gonna have just internal dialogue with myself and just kind of just analyze what happened, and kind of just take a few deep breaths, and then I get up and look around. And being that this is not somewhere that I'm normally wanting to be by myself in the dark in these woods, I have an immediate feeling to just go back to the group, and but also being conflicted. So inner dialogue is just turmoil, just wanting to be back with the group, but still wanting to be alone. So I'm just gonna slowly just start fighting it, and then maybe 15-20 minutes passes, and I just kind of walk back towards the group.
What are you guys doing in that period of time? I will say, I guess, let's go back to Nora, who had been reading the book for a reasonable period of time. Nora, in reading the book, oh geez, hold on. I just realized I was typing my push to talk key into just adding a million tildes to the document for my notes. Sorry. So Nora was reading this particular book about this journal notebook for one of the artists. The artist talks about how she came here as part of this group from Boston, University of Boston. And that they initially starts out quite happy, about them going off into this forest, and that there's going to be great opportunities to paint. But then after the second night, there's notes where she says she's been having strange dreams, visions of water, yellow leaves, much of the symbolism that you've already experienced in your own dreams and seen among these paintings. Over the next few entries, it gets more and more disturbed as these continued focus, almost obsession with the dream symbolism comes to the forefront. And the artist describes about how she is drawn to paint the pictures that she has seen in her mind in the night, and about how poorly she is sleeping.
While she's reading this, I imagine Mr. Proctor's probably saying aloud, "Yes, these artists probably aren't attuned enough to be seeing these visions and dreams that we have."
So I think Chester would have, once realizing, seeing the look on Mr. Brady's face and all that, kind of give him some space, but still follow behind, following his path through the forest, and kind of slowly approach, seeing him on the ground just sitting.
I guess give me a stealth roll if you're trying to do so stealthily.
Well, I wouldn't really be doing it stealthily. I would just trying to give him a little bit of space before I approach.
Well, assuming that your approach happens within 5 minutes, I would say that there is a possibility, Mr. Brady, that you're only just overcoming the effects of this mania in that bout of madness, and you may choose whether or not his approach decides to forces you to run further into the forest.
So this would be before my decision to kind of
basically on the cusp. I'm giving you the option to decide how you want to role play for your character, whether this escalates the situation or whether you are at the point where you're able to take it under control. It's a weird compared to D&D to be it's up to you. Do you chop your hand off? I mean, how do you think this plays out? I could really see it going either way.
Your eyeballs out.
So
you don't have to. You don't have. Yeah, I'm not saying you have to run, but if you want to play it out that way, I could. You could say that your reaction to him is that you run a little further into the forest, and it's a few more minutes before you manage to find yourself. At least, unless he continually chases you down and keeps triggering you.
Yeah, if this ends up being right around the time that I start kind of coming to terms with what's going on, yeah, just acting very manically and almost anxiety at the highest, and in a panic, and just kind of you know standing up, and then I'm just gonna grab my face and just kind of turn away from Chester, and then just say, after seeing all that, and with everything that's happened in these dreams and seeing those paintings, this is way more than I signed up for. I can see, the dangers of being out here with the men and having their guns, but this is on a different level, and I never asked for this, and just being in a very manic state, and he just keeps turned away from Chester as he says that.
Yeah, Chester would once he spotted him, wouldn't have gotten any closer. So just in where he can see him,
Okay.
And just been like, I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Brady. This is definitely more than any of us thought was going on. I mean, I've been in these woods for 2.5 years now, and never seen anything like this. So it's more than we've all bargained for. But there is a girl at stake, at in danger here, and I don't want to force you to be here if you don't feel comfortable, but we're pretty far into the woods at this point. And I worry about the strong girl's safety if we head back now.
You're right. There's no way I could find myself finding the way back, and the girl still is missing and is still in danger. Just give me a few moments, and I'll see about heading back to the group.
Chester will kind of nod and then realize he's not looking at him and be like, "All right, I'll try to make the path back to the clearing pretty obvious, so you can find your way back, and I'll give you your space." And then Chester will leave, trying to make an obvious trail back to the clearing, so that Mr. Brady could follow.
Great. So I'm Mr. Mechanic. Mr. Brady, make an int roll.
A what roll?
An int, intelligence.
Okay.
Okay, so I will sort of not retcon this, but we'll make it apply afterwards. As you're sitting there and thinking about this, you manage to suppress the memory of what you've seen, basically make it not really meaningful to yourself at this point in time. After taking some deep breaths, you feel your sanity return to its original level. Specifically in the case of temporary insanity like this, you're supposed to make an int roll for a chance to simply just ignore what happened to you. Oh no, sorry, it's the reverse. No, never mind. Everything happened the way it did.
Okay.
If you fail the int roll, you suppress the memory and you just have no idea what happened. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Fail the
being
intelligence.
smart works against your sanity.
Yeah, being smart works against your sanity. If you're really smart, chances are you can basically make your mind reconcile what happened and realize the full implication of it. Whereas if you're kind of dumb, you're just like, well, that was weird. Oh well.
Rip.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry. Yes. So nothing actually changes. But that int roll would have happened before, and had you looked at the painting and made the int roll and failed it, you would have just been like, I don't even really remember seeing those paintings. That's weird.
What paintings?
Yeah, exactly. Never know the paintings. All right. So Dancy had to take a quick bathroom break, emergency. What are y'all doing in this period? So obviously, Nora can let you guys know about the information in the journal. And are any of you also still to look at the paintings? Oh, dance.
Yeah, I would tell them about what I found in the journal. That they had the same dreams, and she got kind of obsessed and was compelled to paint the images she had seen. And then, being a curious sort and hearing about these paintings, I would go take a look at them.
So, taking a look at the paintings, you immediately recognize the figure seen from behind, looking out across the black waters, as well as the dilapidated old cabin. You both you and Mr. Brady shared the same dreams, just in different nights. Give me a sanity roll. You manage to, while you realize what you're seeing, you are able to reconcile this and gulp down your rising fear and shock at seeing exactly the images that have plagued your dreams shown in front of you on canvas, writ large. Give me 1d3. You lose 2 sanity. So you still let out a little bit of a yelp as you look at these, and a cough that you stifle it back. As I said, you're able to forego the worst of the impact against your sanity, but ultimately this is still a disturbing thing for you to look upon.
You're right. The lighting is really bad on that one.
We have slept since we found the dead body, right?
Yes, you are at 6 for the day, I believe. 7 for the entire scenario.
Well, the dead body was the day before, so I'm only at 2 for the day. In theory.
I thought you lost some from the dreamless, which is just not counting for the day.
Okay. Great.
The dead body is a 7, and then the rest of the today is 6. Yeah. So sorry, where were you guys?
Chester just rejoining everyone. And say, Mr. Brady has seemed to calm down a bit. He's gonna rejoin us shortly.
Mr. Watts, do you too look upon the paintings?
I already looked at them, and you said they weren't any of the dreams that I had. So.
Oh yes, of course. No, they're not.
Yeah.
I said one of them was familiar to you, but it wasn't exactly right.
Yeah, and so that's what prompted Mr. Brady to take a look at them.
You mentioned before you popped off. I did not bring up the thing about the rifle.
Okay, I was about to say, maybe we could make use of this thing. I'll pick it up, the rifle, and I won't look down the barrel.
Yeah, Chester was like, oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up with you guys. Found this gun and this hat over here. Not sure who it belonged to, but I don't think these painters were carrying any weapons like this.
I'm holding the rifle in a way somebody who would never have really held a rifle would hold a rifle. So you may want to take it off me.
Yeah, no, it kind of cringes and approaches from the side.
It's like I'm holding it and I face it towards you guys. I'm like, hey guys, look.
It's
whoa.
And sort of lowers. Okay. It sort of tries to take it from you.
Yeah, I'll just let you take it. I have no experience with weapons at all, really. So
it is probably a good idea to take it with us, but maybe I'll hold on to it for now. Okay.
Yeah.
I will give you guys a reminder, because I'm pretty sure this did come up, that in describing the other hunters, the other father and son hunters, the hunters that you met before, Brian mentioned that the other hunters, that the guy was known for wearing a silly Texan hat.
Is that
the hat? A silly Texan hat.
Yeah, I was saying. So this hat would be recognizable in that regard, because that you were told that. You haven't seen it before, but it would be a reasonable leap of logic.
And the dead body we found earlier was a hunter, right?
No, the dead body was an artist who was wearing overalls that were stained in paint.
Maybe it was a painter and a hunter.
Or maybe the hunter ran through and got all the paint all over him. We don't know.
Well, it's odd that he'd leave his gun, and his hat. There's no other signs of like. Can I find like a trail leading from where the items were left?
Not really. Like there's a lot of footprints around this area. I mean, there's obviously, besides like the signs of the scuffle and a bunch of people leaving the camp, there was a bunch of different signs of movement here to do with the painters obviously going about their painting in the last few days. So really, there's a confusion of tracks throughout the area, with basically with the exception of the blood going one direction because it's bloody, and that one going off to the north, which obviously the painters hadn't really ventured that direction, and then clearly like a mass exodus to the east.
Is there any indication of like how long the gun and hat have been here? Like, has it rained in the last however many days and the stuff is wet or anything like that?
No, you guys have been here obviously in the forest for several days, and there has been no sign of rain. The hat and the gun look to be in good condition.
Would the hat look good on me?
That is for you to decide. The answer is yes. I mean, look at your bitchin' mustache. Of course you'd look good in the Texan hat.
I kind of try it on for size to see if it fits me.
It's a lot bigger than your head. It looks a little goofy.
I was like, kind of. Does it look like I could sell it?
Maybe it's a pretty fancy hat.
Yeah.
Chester would be like, maybe we should hold on to that in case we run into, what was his name? My notes are not loading, so I don't have his name. The other hunter.
It was
Is it Arthur?
one was Alistair Lawson and Brian Hall. Hold on. I mean, I should just look at this. Brian Hall. Yeah. No, sorry. Yes, it's Brian Hall. It was Alistair Lawson that you talked to before. Brian Hall is the other guy who's had the hat.
So, Frisbees weren't invented until 1957, but I'm going to kind of throw it in that way and see if it flies like a Frisbee, and make a mental note that I might invent something like that later.
Totally.
Of course.
It doesn't fly very well because of the high sides.
Okay. But I'll just chuck it to Chester since he wants to keep it.
Okay, I'll just like kind of put it in my bag.
Careful, you don't want to fold that thing.
Yeah, I would say you attach it to your bag
Okay, yeah.
because it is hard felt.
Is the rifle loaded?
Yes, the rifle has a round in it.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna sling it over my shoulder, I guess, and well, there was one particular path that we were following when we got here. Shall we continue, or are we hunting for hunters?
No, I mean, our job is to rescue the girl, so, I mean, we can just document what we've seen here and report it when we get back. I mean,
sounds perfect. Let's get this done and get out of this forest.
At this point, Brady's kind of like returning to the group. Just kind of like with his hand on his forehead, just like removing sweat and just kind of patting himself on the leg.
hold out my hooch
Welcome
again.
back, Mr. Brady.
He actually will take up Thomas on his hoochie. His
Take
hooch.
a swig of liquid courage. You feel it burn down your gullet.
Okay.
It warms you in the inside, and the prospect of being near other people seems not quite so serious for at least the near future.
Do let me know if tobacco will aid your nerves. Shall we be on our way?
I think I'm good to go. Thank you, Thomas.
Nod. Stash it away again.
All right, you guys heading off into the forest?
How far did he say we had to go? I don't remember.
It would probably be another couple hours of walking at this point in the day, where you were based on what he said, but you didn't give super exact directions.
I would recommend that we attempt to move quietly once we get a little closer. Perhaps you should lead the way, Chester. See if you can find the path that he took.
Yeah, well, it looks like we have a trail to follow again. Looks like he went this way after the scuffle that happened here. So yeah, I'll lead the way and start following the tracks.
Alrighty, give me a tracking check.
Nora will follow close-ish behind him with gun drawn and a smoke in her lips.
You start to lose the way after about the first hour and are not really quite sure if you're still on the right track. I will say that you would be fairly confident that you were going the right direction from what you were told, but you were unsure at this point in time.
Chester will keep that to himself.
All right. Well, they say you'll continue to move forward in the forest. Chester having to stop occasionally, slowing your progress while he looks around and makes some checks against his compass and looking at the sky. Unfortunately, overcast. The sun not providing any particular insight as to the time of day or what or where they are or where you are. But you do manage to finally make your way to the appointed location for where you've been told this cabin was. As you find a break in the forest, you arrive in a clearing. You find a weird rancid smell wafting on the breeze as you break through the tree line.
I would definitely have everyone stop once I saw the clearing, and be like, I think we're here.
Is it the cabin from the painting?
You can't quite see it yet. You do see the bits of the side of a cabin in the distance, or just a little ways away, but it's on a bit of a rise, and it's a little hard to see from where you are.
And so I'll be like, I think Miss Baker had the correct notion before. We should try to approach quietly.
Give me stealth rolls.
We'll say they have shown themselves to be quite unhinged and unprofessional. I think we'll probably meet with gunfire.
Nora's moving really quietly, but she's still got that smoke that's going, so everyone can smell her coming.
I'll also fumble in my bag and finally take my pistol out that I bought. It's been there the whole time.
Wow.
None of you are particularly stealthy this time. So you basically all five of you make your way into the clearing, and you realize as you make it a little closer that this smell is the rancid smell of death. Moving up the incline towards the clearing proper, you see trees surrounding it, and just to the left-hand side, as you approach the clearing, the small ramshackle cabin is just a little ways away. It does not remind you of the cabin that you've seen in the dream, for those of you who have seen that dream. As you enter the area, the stench of death assaults your nostrils. As you look around, it is immediately clear where the smell is coming from. A little way up a tree to your left, a body appears to be impaled on a branch.
I'm going to say, Mr. Benjamin, do you have any of your lavender perfume left? I'd love to give it a little-
Goodbye.
He is staring up at a body impaled on a branch. How high up is that?
Inspecting it closer, you look, and it is solidly about 8 feet up this tree. Blood coats the tree. This man fits the description of Christopher Dobbs, one of the kidnappers, but he has been suspended by a stout branch that has rammed straight through his chest. He was gored terribly, and his blood coats the tree. His death was likely excruciating and clearly unnatural. The sight disturbs you, even those of you otherwise familiar with being in the presence of death. And so, those of you who are looking at all close at this, give me a sanity roll.
Yeah, he instinctively uses the perfume as he suggested, but doesn't immediately offer it.
If I hadn't lost 2 points, I would have made that roll.
He failed. Give me a D4. You lose that much sanity.
Shit, I just lost sanity, didn't I? Earlier?
Yeah, earlier I think you just lost 1.
Because I don't think I took it off.
I think just 1.
Just 1?
Yes, based on the thing that I have for your thing.
How much have I lost total? Because right now I just have 5 lost total.
Proctor, you now have lost 6 today, 6 altogether, and 3 today, not including what you might have lost right now.
Okay, I think I still make the roll. By 1.
Oof, very good. Those of you that passed, you lose no sanity. Those of you that failed, you lose your D4.
Chester definitely, even though not losing sanity, kind of has to hold back a barf and looks away.
So how much sanity can I lose in one day?
Less than that. You have a bout of madness. All right, let's roll those dice.
Poor Mr. Brady.
I have another bout of madness.
You do. This one is not temporary. Okay, so that was an 8. Seeing this body, you scream out. You can't control your convulsions. Your body is no longer your own. You flail and yell, bringing all the attention around you upon yourself. You fall to the ground. Each of your limbs acting as if it's on its own mind. Your body convulsing and writhing on the ground. As this noise is being thrown around this clearing, everybody give me, besides Mr. Brady, everybody give me a spot hidden.
At least we already won't be in stealthy.
Allows everybody. All right, so everybody except Mr. Proctor notices a shotgun pointing out of one of the small windows in this cabin. It is about to fire upon you. You have the moment that you can alert your friend, Mr. Proctor, and then all of you have the choice as to whether or not you want to dive for cover.
I feel
Far
like
away is it? Like, can I shoot them? I had my gun out.
You cannot. No, you cannot. You cannot react to incoming fires, shooting.
Okay.
Hold on, I will put you guys onto where is
My
I made a battle map.
my size is 65. How does that compare to Mr. Proctor?
I am 65.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to try and like rugby tackle Mr. Proctor down with my back towards the gun, considering I'm always carrying this big ass bloody backpack.
I love it. Mr. President,
Yeah.
get down.
So yeah, if you guys are jumping for cover, give me a dodge roll.
Yeah,
Yes, I
definitely.
will call out to Mr. Proctor to duck. I'll call out generally to everyone to duck.
Yeah, and the rugby tackling him down, do I have to do anything for that?
Give me your dodge roll, and that will count as you also tackle him.
Like, come on, like every 9 rolls is a fail.
Can I, if I was warned by, could I also dive for cover?
Yeah. So if anybody yelled out, which they have not said necessarily that they did, then
No,
yes.
no,
Oh,
I
you're
did.
good.
He said that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I missed that. Okay, yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes.
Dive for cover. Where'd you go?
Dodge.
Oh. Well.
Let me find his thing. Then I roll it. All right. So so this shotgun blasting out the window goes flying over your heads as all of you drop to the ground to try and avoid it being warned in time. But you are now in combat, which we will have to do a turn order for. First time doing this. This is gonna be interesting. All right, turn order. Here we go. Let's figure this out, guys. What do I even click? Turn order.
Do we click turn tracker?
Yeah, I get. Yeah, that
Yeah,
that apparently
that works.
works. Look at that magic.
Make sure you're
Under the
clicking your
combat
token,
setting.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Where do
Where's
you
my
see
token?
that?
Under combat.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
there is a handy combat little. Oh, that puts dodge right there. How convenient.
Yeah. My token. Maybe I forgot to do that.
Oh yeah, because it's like set initiative.
Yeah, so we can. There is a variant in this where you roll, so that's like it's a bit mixed up each time. We'll worry about whether that actually seems like it's worth doing later on.
Just the dead guy in the tree right here.
Is he actually dead?
Ooh.
I suppose you'll be able to find out when you're not in combat, unless you really want to spend your combat rounds doing that.
No, I was just asking, is that the dead guy hanging in the tree?
Sorry, yes, that's the dead guy hanging in the tree.
Well, the guy hanging in the tree. You hear some weird clicking and a 3 laser beam.
All right, Mr. Watts, you're up first.
Okay, I'm gonna like shimmy out of the backpack I'm wearing and try and hide.
I suppose technically anybody who dove for cover loses this turn. I would say if you dove for cover, actually, you probably would have dove. No, so you're on Mr. Brady over here. Mr.
Yeah.
Proctor probably would have jumped down here, as would Mr. Galloway and Nora, or like just down the sides of this thing. So we're gonna go through. We're gonna say that though that was like the first. Yeah, I say that makes sense. Okay, so sorry. Yes, you're on the ground. What are you gonna do now?
Get up and try and hide, like find cover somewhere,
Okay, well,
like tree, rocks.
yeah, you could get behind that tree for sure. Yeah, the tree would provide you some amount of cover.
All right. Can I randomly fire my gun in that area, or is that my?
No, you would have enough. That's not very much movement. You have the ability to fire at the wall there. Basically, it's a cabin though. Like you saw where the gun pointed out, and now you don't see anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna aim and fire. How do I do that? Do I just click?
Yeah, there should be a thing for your weapon on your combat thing if it was added to your thing.
Maybe I didn't add it then because it's not there. I thought I dragged a weapon. Maybe I didn't drag it in.
You can just click your combat skill for your weapon in your skill thing.
I don't think I have a weapon.
I bought you a pistol.
Yeah, you did. I just didn't drag it in. It's not.
Oh,
there.
gotcha.
Okay, well, I mean, do you have like handgun skill? You can just use your handgun skill.
Oh yeah, I do. It was a Colt, I think I bought, wasn't it? Like
I don't remember.
Colt 45, was it?
Yeah, I think it was a Colt 45.
All right. There it is. Aim and fire.
And then roll a penalty die as well. Oh, I suppose you got a failure anyway. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Roll a penalty die anyway.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you failed, so you failed. So
Can I spend 7
yeah,
luck?
yeah, you could spend 7 luck, but then you'll have to roll a penalty die.
Oh. Well, that's metagaming. I wouldn't have known about the penalty die. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
But yes, you can roll a penalty die, see how low it is, and then whichever is lower, you can use your luck against.
All right, I'll roll it.
Yeah, there's a bonus penalty at the bottom. Okay. Oh, there you go. Well, that would have been good. So yes, you could spend 7 luck to be able to shoot.
What do you mean that would have been good? Good as in good, or good as in?
Yeah. One is a critical success.
All right, I'll spend 7 luck. Why not?
All right, so you spend 7 luck, and your shot slams into the wall where the guy is, and I guess roll damage.
Damage is there, isn't it? 12.
Does it show? Oh yes, there is a damage down there. Wow, you rolled really good damage. The damage, you can see the weapon fire straight into the side of the building where you assume that the guy is based on having just fired, and you hear a muffled oomph as the person gets hit on the other side. I will say that there is armor mechanics in this game, and so basically at what you rolled there, like 10 of the 12 damage disappeared into just shooting through the wood of the board.
Okay. How
Because
did he stick his gun out?
they're like little small windows that are in the side of the cabin.
Yeah, that's what I would have aimed at.
Oh, okay. You would have aimed at the window and like tried to catch him.
Where the shotgun was sticking out, I would have aimed exactly where that shotgun was.
Oh, let's say then that you're holding your action for when he tries to shoot again, and you will try. And in fact, he's next. Oh no, he's after Chester. So we will say what's going to happen then if you are holding your shot and you do a really good job and use your luck like that. You are going to blast him as he puts his hand up into the window.
Yeah, that's what I would have been doing.
Okay, cool. So before that happens, Mr. Galloway, what are you doing?
Chester's going to pull out his gun, point it towards the building, get up on the clearing, like staying on the ground, like army crawl up the little hill a bit, where he can aim down the sight and see the building, and say, "Mr. Harris, if that's you, just come out, drop your weapon. We just want to make sure that Miss Strong is safe. No one else has to get hurt here."
Give me an extreme persuade or charm check.
Nat 1, come on.
Maybe.
All right, let's see. Persuade is 10.
It is
Where's
theoretically possible.
Charm is slightly better. Not better enough.
So on his turn, you hear him yell out from inside. He screams out, "Give her back or get the hell away!" And then you see a shotgun come out the window once more. And then at that moment, Mr. Watts leans out from around the tree, lining up his weapon, fires off a shot, and it clings right off of the edge of the weapon, slamming into his hand, and you hear him scream out as you manage to make a expert shot at catching the side of his shoulder in his hand as he leant out the window, and you hear him fall back into the cabin.
And I'll turn and say, did he say give her back?
That's what he said. Curious.
Mr. Proctor.
I peek out. How's our Mr. Brady doing?
He is screaming on the ground. Did I roll a D10? I did roll a D10 for 2 more rounds.
Damn. Well, Mr. Proctor's kind of a piece of crap, so I'll kind of ignore that and aim towards where the shotgun blast came from, and if anything moves. Actually, wasn't there like a way to take a turn to aim?
Yes, you can say that you are like lining up your shot for the following turn, and in the following turn you will get a bonus die for your shot.
I'll do that.
All right. It feels very in keeping from a roleplay perspective for him to do that. All right, Miss Baker.
Okay. So he fell backwards after getting shot. Does he like making any noise or anything after that, or?
I guess if you're waiting around and listening, you could do a listen check. Otherwise, though, like you can't really hear anything outside.
Yeah. Okay. I will. I guess I will just like be prepared to shoot him if he pops back up into the window. And kind of edge. How high is this like incline that I've dodged behind?
It's a good 5 feet.
Okay, so I will like edge sort of up over it, but kind of hiding behind that tree a little bit. So like over here.
All right.
And like ready a shot for if he pops back up and tries to shoot people.
Mr. Brady, you are screaming and out of control, just lying on the ground, rolling about, making a real scene. Honestly, get control of yourself, Mr. Brady. One more round. Mr. Watts, we're back to you. Well, that's you, man.
Oh, go on, Mr. Watts. Alright, so yeah, I hit him. I'll be like, oh, I think I got him. And I'm gonna aim up and point and take a round aiming another. Do you surrender?
You hear from inside, I'll surrender when you give me the girl back.
What do you mean? We're coming to collect her from you. You kidnapped her.
No talking, just the girl. So are you holding an action to shoot him if he tries to poke his head out, or are you...
No. Aiming.
Okay,
Aiming.
so you're aiming for the following round. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I'm really proud of myself with that first shot. Because the first
You gotta do good again. Mr. Galloway.
So is there a mechanic for like dashing?
Yes, yes, the 100%. There's a dash mechanic. You can like run to the door. The way that works, I believe you can't. I believe it's like if you dash up to 5x your move in yards or something, then you take disadvantage on attack. Like you get a penalty die, and basically because he's inside, you wouldn't be able to shoot him. And then it's like if you go even farther than that, then you like can't fire at all or something like that. Either way, I would say in this case, like getting up to like the door or something, you could do that. You're not going to be able to do an action.
So my movement rate is 8. Does that mean 8 squares?
No, the squares are like a leftover from D&D. Hold on, let me like take a look.
Is that like 8 yards?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a square is kind of a little less than a yard. Oh, I'm totally missing the movement thing in here. Armor, outnumbered. Making attack rolls, using weapons in a fight, compare builds. Where is the thing about movement?
Oh yeah, the other thing. How old was Jane again?
16?
Love story, isn't it?
Yes, you move a number of yards up to 5 times your movement value in one round. So we'll say like it's like a little bit less than that number of squares.
Wait, what?
Like I would say a square is probably like a yard is probably like smaller than a 5-foot square from D&D. Emily just said a yard is 3 feet.
Yeah.
This all gets more complicated when we do a battle map. Otherwise, I'd just be like, yes, no, is it the right distance?
How's that correlate with movement rate?
Your movement rate is the number of yards that you can move in a turn.
24 yards.
I was gonna say that makes a lot more sense. 7 feet per 6 seconds. That's like a foot a second. It's like pathetically slow.
Oh, actually, I accidentally have myself muted. So, basically, I was saying that I'm just gonna run up to this tree right here, and then um, I don't know if I should try to talk to him again because he didn't seem very responsive to me last time.
You would have had my interaction with him then.
Yeah, he wasn't really responsive to that. So, yeah, Chester's just gonna. Um, he's not gonna take aim. He's gonna ready to fire. If when Harris pokes his head out again.
Oh, I found the thing. Okay, a character can move a number of yards equal to their move rate and attack normally. If the attacker moves up to their move rate multiplied by 5, they may make one melee attack at the end of the round. Basically, so like you can sprint and tackle somebody, but like you can't like sprint and like effectively shoot super easily.
So what's the max amount that you can move in a turn if you're not attacking?
Yeah, if you're not attacking, it's 5 times your movement rate.
Damn.
So you can sprint pretty far. But remember, a round's not 6 seconds. Rounds are a little more loosey-goosey in Call of Cthulhu. It's like a slightly longer period of time. Okay, so you're, yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah. I say you could yell out at him or something again if you want to try and convince him to stop what he's doing.
No, Chester's just gonna run up to this tree and then point his gun at the window and fire if Harris if he gets a shot. Yeah.
All right. Harris is once again going to yell out and say, get back, all of you. I've had enough of you crawling around in the night. And he is going to poke his head out one more time and fire off. I guess like nobody's really particularly in his view at the moment. He's going to try and hit Mr. Brady because Brady's flailing around on the ground.
Would I get a shot off before he did, or?
Sure. Yeah. If you were waiting, you two would both. If you're not aiming for the next round, then yes, you can fire this round. I would say with a penalty die though. He is still like heavily covered. Jesus.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh my God! Oh, but so you don't get your extreme damage because that.
It's two.
Oh no!
or
You
six.
rolled a
I
2 or a
totally
6.
get my
Holy
extreme damage.
shit! Okay, so
Well,
like
no,
you see,
that would make it 26 or 6.
Yeah, I guess the extreme. No, I thought the extreme is. Oh no! Hold on. It's doing
Because the penalty die is another D10, which would be in the it would be the hundreds place. The 10,
yes.
yeah. So it'd be 26.
No,
or
you're right. So
6.
it's 100. So it's 20. So it's not. It is not a with the penalty. It's not a bonus because it's a hundreds die. It's you rolled a 20 26.
The penalty, you take the worst out of the 10s.
Yes.
And then bonus, you take the best out of the 10s.
20. You didn't roll a 2.
So-
Weird that it displays it that way.
Yeah. So you got 26, which would still be a hit, which is 7 damage.
Okay, got it.
And then Chester, yeah, did not
Just
make the
whiffed
shot.
it,
Another shot slams into the side of the cabin where you see him poking his head out, and you hear once again a muffled sound of him taking a shot, or taking a hit. He also attempts to take a shot, but obviously interrupted by the bullet slamming into the side of the cabin. He oh wow. He fires over Mr. Brady's head, pellets scattering to the wind across the top as Mr. Brady is lying on the ground, flailing about, and actually making kind of a hard target to hit because of his random movements that are so erratic. Mr. Proctor.
Disadvantage shooting at someone lying on the ground.
I'll use my turn to just shoot whenever someone aims out the window, but he'll say, if they don't have the girl, shouldn't we just leave in the general direction of Norris since she's closest?
No, he shot at us.
Getting shot doesn't really agree with me.
That's why we're shooting back.
I assume I shoot as soon as someone's popping out. Well,
Sure.
later.
Yeah, you're gonna hold for that shot with your aim shot.
Right.
All right. Nora.
I mean, we have probably damaged this poor dude decent amount by now.
Yeah, so like the cabin's soaking up a bit of the damage because you guys are having to like essentially shoot through a wall and you're like catching him a little bit on the edge there, but you're not able to get a good like body hit. But he's probably not doing good.
Okay. Yeah. How big of a window? Like, are there multiple windows that he could see out of potentially to shoot?
There are a couple quite small windows. This is a real like middle of nowhere shack. Like this is not a nice cabin. The windows are things that are probably blocked up with like a hunk of wood when it gets cold. Not actual like glass windows.
Oh, sorry, I'm not pressing the press to talk key at all. I'm gonna run over to this tree, like over there, and aim another shot at the window in case he pops back out.
Alrighty. Mr. Brady, you feel as the madness starts to wash away. You find yourself lying on the ground, staring up at a gray sky covered in clouds. The sound of gunfire still ringing in your ear. Your senses slowly returning to you as you find your body convulsing on the ground. In this next turn, you are going to be find yourself back in control, but for now, you're only able to maybe react to what happens in the next few moments. Mr. Watts.
All right, I'm gonna yell out saying, "We're not here for you. We're just here to take the girl back to her parents. That's why we've been sent. What do you mean you don't have her? Who took her?"
Give me an extreme persuasion or intimidation or I would say it's kind of intimidating or charm, I guess. It's going to be charming, depending on how you're delivering this.
What, fast talk? Would that be it?
No, you're not fast talking him. You're not trying to swindle him.
I said it really quickly.
If you could think about how you reformat that request into a way that you're fast talking him, okay, I'll give it to you. That you're trying to convince him that you don't really want him to that you don't actually want him and then he's going to be free to go. I'll say that's a fast talk. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, you're trying to confuse him a little.
It's extreme though.
Keep him
You
off
got to do
guard.
it extreme.
Extreme. 69.
Nice.
Bonus points.
Nice. Yeah, that you hear some groaning from inside, and he says, and he yells out, "Nobody's gonna believe people who go scurrying around in the night. Give me the girl. I know you took her."
This guy's as mental as Brady over here. And then, yeah, I'm gonna wait till he shows himself and hold my shot because I've already aimed, so I'll wait until he shows himself.
Yeah, sure. Mr.
Or,
Gallup.
yeah, any movement in the window, I'll shoot at.
I'm gonna look over to Miss Baker next to me and say, "This man's clearly seen some things, possibly related to what we've seen. I think we need to subdue him and try to figure out what happened. I'm gonna try to get his gun away, and I'm going to head into the cabin. The door's right here.
Yeah, there's a door in the front, kind of just to the side over here. How are you going to try and get through this door?
Is it locked or anything? I'll approach it and just try to open it.
The door is locked. Possibly barred, because there does not appear to be any kind of actual locking mechanism.
In that case, could I... He probably heard me jiggle the door, so stealth at this point's out the window. I want to get right about here next to the door, and when he moves the gun up to shoot, I want to grab it.
All right. We'll wait for that to happen, and it is his turn next. So yes, you see a gun coming up to the window. Give me Oh, I'll call it either a sleight of hand or a brawl check.
I don't think I'm very good at either of those, but we'll see. Let's see. Where is sleight of hand?
If there's any chance that Chester will be in the way of my shot, I wouldn't take it. Just so you know.
Okay.
Even-
I was
even
about to
though-
ask that because you might shoot him.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I was gonna
I
say the
wouldn't-
same. Being that he told me he was going to do this, I assumed before he walked up, I would like be ready, but not, shoot him.
But if he fails, bam.
I'll make that. Let's make this interesting. I'll make that contested to see whether he's quick enough to stop you from doing it. In fact, I believe that's right. No, either way you'll fail, but it'll be whether or not he gets the shot off while you're doing it. Okay, so you try to grab the weapon from him, and he's shocked by seeing the hand suddenly come into the window, and he pulls back the weapon at the last moment. You're not able to pull it away from him, but it also ruins his opportunity to take the shot.
I'll just quickly try to say, Mr. Harris, we don't want to hurt you, and like miss the gun as I try to grab it.
You hear from inside, "Damn your eyes!" All right, Mr. Proctor. If anybody wants to take a shot from like their held action, let me know for your chance to possibly shoot Chester.
If there's no chance to shoot Chester, then I'll take the shot. If there's a potential,
There is
I'm not
definitely
confident.
a chance. There are specific rules entirely about shooting your friends.
Yeah, I'm not
No.
confident in my own abilities to take the shot. I'll keep holding my action there.
So how's this work? Do I have to aim a second time and then skip a second turn, or does it just kind of roll over?
You're still aiming. You can. Well, yeah. I don't know if you can double aim, but you're still aiming for sure.
I'll just continue the aim action then.
You have to restudy your breathing.
All right, Miss Baker.
Okay. I like where Ranger Galloway is going with this, so I'm gonna run on over and sort of
Kick down the door.
shove him. Yeah, why not? I'm just gonna try and take down the door. I'm pissed off.
Strike roll.
With the gun in my hand, ready to go. I'm gonna try and kick down this door.
All right. Yeah.
Brute strength.
I was gonna say a hard roll. Okay. You run at the door and do a flying kick, heel first, straight into it. You hear the wood groan and shatter as the door flies inwards, and the shocked sound of a man inside. You moved. How many yards did you move there? Yeah. Okay. So 25 feet is like divided by 3 is like 5 yards. Yeah, so you moved 5 yards, so you have however many more yards you can move. Let me get rid of the roof.
I have like 3 more. So I'm just gonna like get as close to him as I can, assuming he did not immediately turn the gun towards me, and just like point the handgun at him and tell him to stand down. Like, just drop it.
Give me an intimidation roll. I'll say hard instead of extreme.
Nice.
He's not impressed. You can see his eyes darting back and forth, and his face looks gaunt as he turns towards you. Mr. Brady, you are actually up.
All right. So am I still like in a manic state, or am I like kind of come to terms and I'm back to reality?
So this is one of those sort of loose things in terms of the rules, is that you are still under the effect of this for another 2 hours, but it is up to you to decide how you role play this. Like, how would your character react after this extreme experience? And that could include also your act of mania. That, like, you might choose to role play this in terms of other things to do with like things that have affected you or your background or the group or the setting. It's totally up to you to decide how this plays out, including basically saying that you steal your nerves and you're fine.
Okay. Knowing gunshots have been going off and everything, Brady's gonna try and take cover.
So you would have the side of the like hill there that would be an obvious place to jump down, or
Yeah.
to try and get behind the tree with Mr. Watts.
I think he's going to take cover behind the like right here.
All right. It would be enough that you could try and draw your weapon and fire if you can do that.
He's probably not going to fire at the moment. I would.
Yeah, dangerous.
He may ready. I think he'll just ready his pistol. Just kind of have it in his hand.
Sure. Ready to take a shot if there's a good shot to take.
Yeah.
Mr. Watts, Nora just, Miss Baker just charged in, and Mr. Galloway's up there, and you can hear noise and commotion from inside.
Okay, I'm gonna yell out. It looks like Mr. Brady's running away again. And then I'm gonna run over to the other tree over here, just to try and get a different angle.
Sure.
Then continue aiming until I get a clear shot without any chance of hitting a friend of mine.
All right. Mr. Galloway.
All right.
So just to recap, in terms of combat mechanics, as far as like fighting and stuff, you can go in and you can try, like what happened last time was like a fighting maneuver. You generally rely on your brawl ability. If you want to like subdue somebody, like tackle them to the ground or whatever, that's a brawling thing. Otherwise, and it's a contested thing. It's like that basically you two roll. But like if you're successful and he's not successful, then you're able to do it. Or you can obviously go in and just fight with your hands, or you could walk in and actually shoot the guy if you so chose to do so. Who should be cold as ice?
I think Chester's gonna walk in and say, "I hate to do this to you, Mr. Harris, but I think you need to just sleep on this and like try to knock him out with the butt of my gun."
All right, give me a brawl.
Nope.
That's real bad. So yeah, you try and go and hit him, and he manages to push your hit outside. In fact, at a 96, when you have when what's your ability is only 25. I'll say that he actually manages to destabilize you, and you go sprawling to the side from what is a critical failure. All right, Sidney Harris is going to round on Nora, trying to quickly raise his shotgun to shoot her point blank. Nora, you have the option to die for cover, which would give you, which would be like the safest thing to do, which is your dodge roll. And if you're successful, he will take a full disadvantage on his shot, penalty die. You can choose to straight dodge, which means that he has to get one level of success better than you. So basically, he would need a hard success against your success, or a success against your failure, or an extreme against your hard. Or you could choose to fight back. In which case, if if he matches you, he is able to get the attack off. But if you do better than him, you will be able to actually attack back and avoid the shot.
One thing I will ask is, when Chester moved, did that clear up an advantage on my shot that I was holding?
No. He is basically like ducked down behind the window right now, and you can't see him through it.
Good enough.
So, is there any difference in terms of rolling between dodge and like diving for cover?
No, so basically, like, it's both of them are dodges. One of them is a dodge roll to simply see if you avoid him hitting you, but you still get your action next time. The other one is a dodge roll, but then he doubly gets he gets like that extra disadvantage thing. Basically, that like because otherwise you could try and dodge, and if he gets like one roll better than that, then he still hits you. But then then if you do the dodge plus your dive and recover, you lose your turn, and he gets a penalty die because you did that. Assuming you're successful.
But fighting back would be like I could try and shoot him.
Yes, you could try and shoot him like point blank, or like punch him out or something like that, and he's clearly injured right now.
I'm gonna try and shoot him in the like arm that he's mostly doing his shooting with. Try and shoot him in the shoulder.
All right. I think you might have to. I don't know if you have to melee. We'll say sure for now. We'll say that's what you're doing. Okay. I think you might have to melee to fight back in close combat range, if somebody's trying to shoot you in point blank. But I could be wrong. We'll not worry about it for now. We'll just do it.
Okay.
Oh snap! So yes, he swings the shotgun towards you, trying to blast you. You raise your foot and kick it out of the way to the side. The shotgun pellets going off, and an explosion comes out the end of the barrel, but going uselessly into the side of the cabin. You swing your hand up with your pistol. You're using a pistol, right?
Yeah.
With your pistol in hand. And unload with a bullet straight to the shoulder. You see the bullet pierce straight through and blood splatter across the floor as he screams out and falls backwards. The shotgun falling from his hand, clattering to the floor as he lies there breathing heavily. And combat is over, and we are going to take a short break before we go into what's happening here because I need to pee. So, you guys have managed to nearly kill Sidney Harris. He is lying on the ground, breathing heavily, fading in and out of consciousness now, having taken several bullets.
I'm gonna kick the gun away from him.
All right, you do so.
Did you say we're out of combat now?
Yes, you're out of combat.
And then I guess I'll try and like first aid him so he's not gonna bleed out right in front of me.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if,
All right, both of you can
he's like
first aid.
dying or something.
You wouldn't know exactly, but he ain't looking good. That's for sure. He's pretty close to it.
Yeah, could we both first aid?
Sure.
Then move over to Brady.
All right, first aid is unsuccessful. I will say that at least with your first aid checking of him, though, it looks like he is on the verge of losing consciousness, but he took a bunch of small amounts of damage through the wall and no critical hits.
Well, at least he's not going to make any more trouble. Hopefully he doesn't die on us.
Is he still conscious?
Girl.
He's barely conscious at the moment. He's starting to like blather kind of incoherently.
I was asking if Ranger Galloway saw any signs of the girl.
Not initially. I'll go check around.
You do not. It's a very small room, single room, no girl.
Is there another exit?
Nope. One door.
I'm gonna. Had we been following when we found Mr. Harris's tracks from the camp? Was it just his tracks, or was there like a second set of tracks? Like he had.
It was just his tracks. Although the girl was not at the kidnapping like meetup originally at all. She was like, as far as they knew, left in the cabin. Basically, that the guys showed up to get the money for it, and they did not bring the girl.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to look around for any like hidden things, like a hidden wine cellar fruit cellar or whatever under the cabin or
All right.
anything like that.
You look around, and the cabin appears to be a very simple single-room cabin. You do not see any signs of any other places that somebody could get into. You do see some signs of that there was other inhabitants here, obviously, for some period of time, some leftover food, and a cot that looks like it had at some point recently somebody in it.
I want to step outside. I'll just kind of say, Mr. Harris is incapacitated at the moment. I think we're all good for now. And then I want to look around to see if I can see any tracks that look like somebody was like um, forcibly taken out of here, or tracks that would match the strong girl.
All right. Well, spot hidden or tracking.
My good rolls have gone away.
Yeah, you don't see anything that you can discern too much from. There is obviously, like, you're certainly knowledgeable enough to see that there are signs of various people passing in this area, but you cannot particularly come to like a very strong conclusion. You know, we're not going to say that you're just like, I have no idea, you're a professional foresting person, ranger. Yeah, you basically you can't unequivocally tell what exactly has gone on here. There are numerous different tracks that seem to have come through this area.
I'll join them inside the cabin.
What are the Bens doing?
With the immediate danger, well, he didn't even wait for that. Once they both went in the house, kind of stared at the windows for a couple seconds and then made his way over to Mr. Brady. How's he look?
How does he look? He looks somewhat harried, but coming back to himself.
I assume I'm probably just still sweating and just real manic, or coming off of being really manic. So I'm just gonna pull out my handkerchief and just like start wiping the sweat off my face and just ask Proctor how he's faring through all this. How's a guy like you out here in these woods doing what you're doing right now? How's that? It doesn't quite fit, does it? Like, how are you faring right now?
Kind of looks taken aback for a second. You can just say that I need to find this tycoon's daughter. I have my reasons for being here. Are you again yourself, Mr. Brady?
I'm slowly coming to that point, but at the moment I still feel like I could lose my mind at any second. I guess we should probably get with the others. See what our next actions are.
Kind of looks towards the cabin, sees the pile of people over there now, kind of shuffling out. I think there may be more than meets the eye. Don't be too hard on yourself.
I appreciate the words, Mr. Proctor. I'll try and take them into I'll try and do better if I have another episode.
Guess head towards the cabin.
All right. So back in the cabin, what y'all doing with our friend Mr. Harris here, who is not doing so great?
Offer some of my giggle juice, and say, look, man, we weren't here to hurt you at all. We are honestly looking for this girl. We'd rather get out of here because we're having these crazy dreams, all sync together. So we just want the girl, and we want to go.
She was gone when I got back, and they came in the night. They tried to take me as well, but I shot at them. I wouldn't let them get me.
By them, do you mean like people or witches or what?
Them, you, anybody, get them away from me.
We found your friend. Was it Eugene?
Damn his eyes.
What do you mean his eyes? I heard you say that before, and I thought you said something else, but it was damn your eyes. Whose eyes?
Damn your eyes.
What's wrong with my eyes?
Well, this
And he just like starts like flailing about, and he starts frothing at the mouth, and then he like collapses in the ground, breathing heavily, and then loses consciousness, slumping to the
I'm
floor.
gonna look at my giggle juice because that's now I gave some to Brady, and he kind of reacted the same way, and he just had some of it, and now reacted the same way. So I'm just gonna throw it against into the fireplace. I'm assuming that's a fire pit.
Yeah, it's a fireplace.
I'm just gonna throw it over there. It's like maybe this batch was bad.
Well, this was productive. Perhaps we should be on our way. If he's unable to help us find who took the girl and she was with me came back, perhaps she simply escaped into the forest and is headed back to town as we speak. Maybe we should do the same.
Yeah, I mean, and then I also want to check for occult symbols anywhere, or any symbols anywhere, like scratched into his skin, on the walls, on the doors, scratch marks anywhere.
Yeah, okay, give me a in fact, you don't even need a spot hidden. You can see what's going on. I will say that as you look around and check the insides and outsides of this cabin, the inside of the cabin is in poor condition, but doesn't seem to have any particular scratches or signs of duress. It's obviously like pretty messed up in there. It's not exactly a nice cabin, but basically fine on the inside. On the outside, you can see clear signs of attempts at forced entry. Some of these are almost bloody marks of what look like potentially like fingers scraping along the doors and against the windows. The windows again, not being glass, but like the edges of like around these things. As it appears that something or someone had tried to forcibly make their way into the cabin.
Creepy.
Yeah, I'll tell that to everybody what I've found.
Can I check his pockets while he's unconscious?
Sure.
See if he has anything interesting or strange.
Besides his shotgun, he appears to be, in possession of a few dollars and nothing else.
What about the
Mr.
money they took? Is there any sign of?
They didn't take the money in the end. I asked that at the beginning.
Oh, I thought they had
they
run
did.
away with the money.
No, they were going to try and take the money, and that's when the whole fight broke out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was on my agenda, was to steal the money when we got here, but I couldn't because.
Mr. Galloway, have you ever heard of any kind of animal that brings its prey into the trees? He's kind of staring out at the body in the tree.
Yeah, I was gonna come and join you at the tree as well, if you don't mind.
Nothing comes to mind, especially not something that could do that to a person.
Is he, how far up the tree is he? Is he like at the top?
8 feet.
So there's branches up above. Does it look like he could have?
Part way up, like a much taller tree.
Does it look like he could have fallen from a higher branch? And
Seems highly unlikely that he fell from a higher branch and somehow got himself impaled straight onto a actual it might be humanly possible that he was like put there by somebody. It's not like wildly outrageous that he is there, but it would have taken some effort.
I mean, someone sticking in a tree, that's pretty outrageous to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's impaled on a branch, right?
Yeah, literally like sticking straight through his chest. There is a solid, hand's breadth like branch that is like gone straight through his chest.
So
Yes,
you're
sir.
wondering, Mr. Benjamin, if he suicided himself, because everyone seems to be going mad around here. Mad, I tell you.
I'm not convinced that he could have come under some form of spell. It is established that there were witches. Perhaps he was hit by some kind of hex.
Is there any saws or tools around, or anyone have a saw that can cut wood? Like in the cabin? Any wood tools in the cabin?
I would say there's like an axe for sure.
Suggest we perhaps chop him down and just take a look at him a little bit more.
A moment first. And he shuffles around and retrieves his camera from the bag and photographs the scene.
All right, it takes a few minutes to set up and photograph it, but you're able to get a shot. There's enough light.
Could I try to first aid Mr. Harris again at this point?
Yeah, sure. I would say though that like as far as you can tell, he is unconscious and does not necessarily require first aid. It would give him like a little bit of a better chance of like maybe doing better. I mean, you could try to get him to regain consciousness with first aid.
I just don't want to leave him here to die. Like if I don't think he's at risk of just dying without assistance, then
yeah,
I'd probably leave him alone.
Yeah, he's probably, as far as you can tell, like you can do the basics without having to do a roll, and he is going to probably survive. Probably.
Okay, then yeah, I would. Yeah, just do the basics, like make sure all of the wounds are covered and give him the best chance of living that I can.
How many people were in this like group? Do we know that?
You don't know specifically, but there were clearly at least 4, and beyond that, you're not totally sure exactly whether there was additional accomplices.
The only person that we know for sure was here that we don't have accounted for is the girl.
Yes. He said that the girl was gone and did not particularly give any specific detailed insights about where she has gone or how. But
he seemed to think some other force had taken her.
Yes, the big thing saying that he had seen them in the night, that they were after him, and that he had tried to fend them off.
Well, I don't see any point in after you've done taking video evidence. I will start chopping down a tree.
It takes you the better part of an hour, but you're able to bring him down and lay him.
And
The whole damn tree.
Yeah, man. I'm not climbing up there to hit it.
Give me a medicine or a first aid check, I guess, to examine the body.
Let's say if it's taking them that long, I would have long since come outside and had a smoke and hung out. So
I wouldn't be checking. I wouldn't be checking to see if he's alive. I'd be checking his fingers.
Yeah, I want to like see what happened to him, type thing.
Yeah, and I said you can do like a medicine or a first aid, I guess, to like examine the body.
Do first aid, because it can't be worse than my medicine 1. Where's first aid?
Rolling well on everything but sanity.
The body seems unusually battered. It clearly was not simply forced upon the tree, but was in some kind of fight for its life. And that, as far as you can tell, that it was then forcibly impaled upon the spike of the log, the branch further up the tree, somehow.
I step on his hand.
Well, whatever
I wanna-
did this, it didn't kill him quickly. Looks like he went through a hell of a fight.
So
Far
he was
back,
forced over
probably?
there?
Something tossed him around pretty good before putting him up there.
I'll have. Does he still have fingernails?
He does.
I think we should get the hell out of here.
That is seeming like more and more wise proposition, but we still don't know what happened to this girl. She may be in danger, or she may have left.
I will say that in terms of trying to track, like Mr. Galloway would have seen that at least the majority of tracks head to the east.
Well, then I'll let everybody know. There's a bunch of tracks around here, and I can't be too certain about if the girl is this way, but it looks like most of the tracks lead east.
It is entirely possible that any further tracking that we do, any more that we follow these people, the deeper we will go into whatever madness we have found out here. As long as we're aware of that.
Horus and his gang were the most mortal threat, though we do seem to be facing more supernatural.
There's certainly something in these woods. I can't imagine our friend Mr. Brady here is typically this sensitive to the presence of other people. But
Something in the.
if we continue on, we may find more shocking things. I'm willing to go to see what we see. I can't let this question go unanswered just yet, but
You're willing to go on after you know there's something out here that can throw a fully grown man 8 foot up in a tree and impale him. Are you mad?
a lot of strange things have happened out here. I can't say that any of them have made me feel more sane, but there is quite the question to be answered. We don't know what's causing any of it. Aren't you the least bit curious?
Well, I mean, I know witches and that usually do these things to ward you away from things. I've not known them to be this aggressive, so this is extremely odd. So, I mean, of course I want to find out more.
Don't be silly. Surely he was battered before he was impaled upon the tree. Battered and killed, of course. Nothing could have thrown him.
And
Yeah.
impaled exactly by what? What
The-
got him high up the tree and shoved him carelessly onto a branch?
Is there blood coming out of his sides of his mouth as though he'd like choked on his own blood because he was impaled? Or am I
No,
not smart enough to know that?
Good question. There is not.
There were. He could have been placed there as a warning.
My first aid is 1. I mean, my medicine is 1, first aid is 30. Would I be smart enough to know that? Because my intelligence is 65 as well. Education 55. And it is the 20s.
I mean, I rolled an extreme success to see what happened to him.
You'd probably know them.
I will remind you that in one of the dreams, the thing in the lake ended with Tendrils rise slowly from the surface, writhing and twisting in the cold night air. At the ends, lids open and blink, revealing inhuman eyes that look like into your soul. An array of metallic spikes begin to thrust upwards as something huge rises to greet the night. Like polished metal, it glistens in the moonlight. The spines writhe and flex. You feel a sickening stab as something plunges into your chest.
That never dream happened to me, so it's somebody else's dream.
Mr. Brady, weren't the natives known for leaving corpses splayed in unseemly ways, such as this? You are an expert, are you not?
I would never claim to be an expert on most of this stuff. I'm always constantly learning. But yeah, those types of things are things that indigenous folk would do, but it's not intrinsic to just Native Americans. But I would also like to pose a question to the group as a whole, like how many minds lost and lives lost are we willing to take a risk for before we're either going to lose our own life or our own mind, or for this girl that at the end of the day we don't even know if we're going to be able to save her, let alone ourselves.
I think you're absolutely right and spot on. And out of character, I think I was playing Thomas Watts a little bit wrong there, because his thing is he wants to discover more. He wants to prove the Titanic had something else, so he'd be more willing to investigate more, right? So I'll have to.
I was trying to poke at that with supernatural or curiosity on the occult and supernatural.
Just realized it went back into a different way. But yeah, so yes, I understand what you're saying, but like you guys were having some of these dreams where this tentacle thing can splay out, it's coming out of the thing. Maybe that thing put it up here. Is that Chester? Do you know if there's a lake nearby? Can you smell the water? Like, are we near?
It would
there
seem
be
if
a
we
lake
want
nearby?
to know more, following the path east is the most likely way to get there.
There is a lake to the east.
As long as we keep our distance from this lake, heed the omens.
How familiar does the area now look to the dreams we've had?
Still not super familiar. It is not super familiar at the moment.
And then the other question I have is it normal for occultists, occult people, witches, and weird stuff to put things in trees like this? Is this normal?
Yes. I would say not exactly normal, but like you would certainly be drawing multiple different references to different potential like folk tales and occult rituals and things like that have to do with like either exsanguination or disembowelment or impaling, as well as like the hanging in trees and wards.
Okay, then I'm going to relay all of this off like I'm a pro expert and know exactly what's going on to everybody.
If it were a cult, as we suspect, could we potentially determine like the intent with that?
I would say Mr. Watts could make an occult roll to decide how he tries to interpret it. But I would also say that he might be able to successfully connect it to something that is also not correct.
Could I also?
Sure.
Nice.
Mr. Watts, I would say you would particularly associate the hanging of bodies in trees like this and the display of blood and violence to do with warding rituals, particularly of a evil nature. But that this does not particularly exactly match those things that you have studied before. It has certain similarities to do with the blood smeared upon the tree and the fact that the body is hung in a tree, but particularly the fact that it is impaled upon a tree is unusual.
You muted.
I'll relay this off as So I think this is like a clear sign of the warning of evil. So there's evil nearby, I'm sure. The blood in the tree smeared. That's what I'm used to reading about. But the impaling of the body, that's odd. Very, very odd indeed.
Are you sure it wasn't a sacrifice, or perhaps part of a larger spell, since it seemed to enrapture Mr. Brady?
At this point, some of this is fact. 75% is normal. The other portion is not so much. It's we're going into the realms of something new here, I believe. So we best be on our we must best be on our guard whilst proceeding to follow the tracks. But we should definitely explore this more. Maybe maybe there's something else out there. I don't know, but to get a fully grown man up in the tree is going to take some effort. Magic from the witches, I'd say.
If we are up against supernatural forces, is there anything you can do? Any extra protection you may be able to forge for us? I know little of these matters, but we are going into unknown territory.
I will. You've still got your protection symbols I made you before out of the twigs and stuff, right?
Of course. You see, Nora's got it like very easily at hand attached to her bag.
Okay, great. I'm gonna. Is there any like actually, I'll go to the fireplace and get out like a piece of charcoal or coal or wood stick that has like a burnt end, and then draw on everyone's foreheads if that'll allow me.
Freddy would be the first one to let you do that.
Mr. Proctor would suggest his hand instead, in the back of his hand. Yeah, charcoal it doesn't agree with the skin. It can cause irritation.
So I'll probably align myself with the Egyptian occult, and I'll probably do like the eyebrow and eye with like a wisp coming off it and a drip down, which is
The eye
of the god. Yes, exactly. So that's the symbol I'll be drawing on everybody.
All right, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, cool. You will apply the Eye of Horus to each person.
Take it on the hand.
I'll insist it goes on your face.
Just wait till literally everyone else has it first. Reluctantly agree.
All right, are you guys on your way then to the east?
I suggest we perhaps stealthily approach things. Perhaps we could use this cabin as a base and store our stuff that we don't need to take with us. And sorry, is it nighttime?
No, it is not. It is like early afternoon.
Maybe we should explore and then come back and base here overnight. What do you think?
Well, if this girl disappeared and this man was impaled upon this tree, it does not seem like the most safe of locations.
Perhaps not here then, but you may have a good idea that we should carry as little as possible with us to move as quietly as we can in the last bit. I'd rather we find them before they know we are coming.
The only point I'd argue to the fact that there's impaled bodies here is perhaps they think this location is now safe and they won't come back here because they've already cleared it out. So,
in any case, we have left plenty of evidence of our passage through the space. Just sort of gesture towards the bleeding body.
the fallen tree.
Did you?
What are we to
consult-
do with Mr. Harris? We to leave him to his fate?
I'll say I patched him up as best as I could. From what I can tell, he should make it. Now, him being this far in the woods, I don't know how well he'd be able to get back to town, or if in his state of mind he'd even want to.
Let's hope we survive and come back for him then.
Yeah.
Did you take a shotgun?
I kicked it away from him, but I haven't done anything with it. I'm already carrying an extra rifle that I don't really have much use for. So.
I have like a 10 on rifle skills, so I won't be taking it. Oh, I've got 15, so that's not that bad.
I think Chester would take it, just seeing as he seems to be a danger to anyone, possibly even himself. Just take it.
There's a window and the door. That's it for the ways out of the cabin.
Yeah, basically there was no real other exit. So there's no way she could have escaped while you were coming in there.
Is there any signs of handcuffs or rope that could have been used to tie up somebody and removed in the room?
No, not really.
So I wonder if she escaped. I mean, 16-year-old girl, quite smart, I assume. Family's got money, so I assume, educated.
I mean, based on Harris's account, which don't know how reliable that is, someone's came and took her.
I mean, that's an assumption. It's one of the assumptions that could be true. She could have escaped because he wasn't here when she was taken. He said that she was gone when he got back, and then people visited in the night. So
It's true.
maybe they were looking for
What
her.
happened? Question: did we actually establish in any way, shape, or form the identity of the dead person impaled in the tree?
Yes. I said that Mr. Proctor recognized him as from the description of one of the kidnappers. One of the other kidnappers.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure because suddenly I was like, maybe it's the hunter. Okay.
If any of them had gold rings on or any gold jewelry, I'll take that with me just for evidence.
Certainly not with these guys.
Gold teeth, rip them out. Okay.
Chester will say, "Well, I don't know too much about the witches and occult things you are going on. All I know is there's a girl missing, and I intend to find her. So,
Well, what I will say is, since I gave you that symbol, did you get shot?
I have not." He says, "But
Very good bear deterrent. Do you see any tigers?
he says, but I think we shouldn't waste any more time. I think we should continue on if we're going to. And
Yes. Are we leaving?
I intend to.
Are we leaving Harris to his own devices? Just leave him in here, yeah?
I mean, I've done the best I can for him.
We could take his shoes.
You like his shoes?
No, but it would disincentivize him leaving.
That's not the worst idea, I suppose, but...
I mean, who would try to travel without shoes?
Possibly
Very
someone in his state of
uncomfortable.
mind.
While they are stealing his shoes, Nora's going to roll a smoke.
I'll draw the Eye of Horus on the door of the cabin.
While that's happening, Chester's just gonna start to try to find the trail and wait outside.
Great. I guess maybe give me one more spot hidden or track roll.
Okay.
Can I help him look?
Sure.
Oh, and at some point in all of that standing around and whatever, I reloaded.
All right, that's a good idea. All right. Well, I will say that as Chester's looking around, Nora comes and looks with him, and sees a sign of what looks like a rather unusually smaller footprint among all the larger footprints in the area, and says and says that looks like it might be that of a young girl or youngish girl. Certainly not a larger male footprint.
Chester would just say, "Good night, Miss Baker. I guess well, we found our path."
Does anyone have any reasonable proficiency with this rifle, or should we hide it somewhere behind us?
Chester just has it on him right now. The shotgun.
There's another one that I was already carrying.
Oh, okay.
Go Brian's.
If you are to leave it, perhaps it would be best if you disabled it.
Indeed, I will take the unload
Firing
it,
pin.
take the firing pin out, I guess, and like stick it up sort of in a tree so it's kind of out of the way and tucked into the branches.
All right.
I guess Chester would do the same thing with the shotgun.
Yeah, it makes sense. You'll stow them away in like a nook of the tree, and so they're disabled.
Yeah, so we don't have to carry extra.
All right. Anything else then before you guys continue on your way?
As we're leaving the clearing, Nora's gonna kind of walk past, sort of up to Mr. Watts and give him a little tap with her elbow. Like, got any more of your courage serum?
Yeah, I have another bottle. I threw one into the fire pit because I gave some to Mr. Mr. Brady, and he kind of showed a few signs of weirdness after he had some. And then when I gave some to Harris on the floor to help him, he spazzed out as well.
Perhaps I should restrain myself then.
Oh, yeah.
If your liquor is responsible for all of our strange dreams, we shall have words when we are out of these woods.
Well, not everybody's had some. Only yourself, myself, Mr. Brady, and I don't know if Mr. Proctor had any when I offered it to him in the tent when we slept on our first night.
No.
No. You and I seem to be fine, other than the dreams. Chester didn't have any, and he's having the same dreams.
Good point. Take a healthy swig and hand it back.
Keep it.
Bout of madness now.
I'm only a couple. Actually, I think I've got three for the day. Got a bit of a cushion. Anyway, let's go.
You press forward.
All right. You guys make your way slowly through the forest. The tree cover getting thicker as you continue, and practically blotting out the light as you're going through what seems like twilight, despite it being the middle of the afternoon. You eventually come out upon a dirt track. It looks like it might be the continuation of that road that you were on earlier. You follow it for a ways towards the north and the east. It seems like that is the most logical path to continue upon. And then you eventually come upon a place at which the path divides in two. One road continues to look recently used, but the other less so. Freshly fallen leaves lie on the forest floor, and this event should not happen until the fall, which certainly isn't. It's the middle of the summer right So anybody who saw that path through the forest dream, give me a sanity roll.
I think that was me. I think I saw
Is
that
that
one.
me?
Yeah, it's Watson Galloway.
Sanity, you said?
Sanity check. You both definitely vividly recall this signs of yellow leaves, and we give a look to each other as a knowing look passes between you. You both shudder in unison, but suffer no ill effects.
Um, do do I see the tracks leading into the where the fallen leaves are?
You see some disturbances in the fallen leaves, but it's a little hard to know for sure. And there certainly are also, obviously, the well-used track is quite well used, but it would be hard to tell really for sure among the fallen leaves whether or not there was recent passage or just some disturbance of animals or something else. Although you have not heard any animals in the area.
Could I check specifically for um, Miss Strong's footprints?
Sure. Give me again. I guess a track. I guess this is definitely a track. This is not a spot hidden. Nope, you don't see it.
I guess I'll turn around to the group and be like, well, I guess we have two paths now. I kind of lost the trail once we hit the road. Um, but this path this way, pointing to the leaves, looks eerily familiar to a dream that me and Mr. Watts shared. It would be my guess that that's the way we should go.
It does seem the most logical course at this point.
We aren't far from Mr. Strong's mining operation, are we not? Perhaps his daughter tried to find her way there.
So yeah, the main road led to one of the inspection sites, right?
Yeah. Compelling reasons for both directions.
Yeah.
What's the other direction?
So the one direction is to the north. Is logically probably to the mining operator or the not meteorological, the
Geological.
geological expedition, and then the other one is familiar to obviously the dreams.
Are we still debating what way we're going?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, this is obviously the signs of what's leading us here, so... I mean, was it nighttime during our dreams?
It was nighttime during your dreams.
I mean, it's afternoon now, and our dream was at night, right? Maybe we should investigate down here. It's what's been compelling us to go down this way.
You also were harmed in your dream. Perhaps they were warning us to go the opposite path. While you were gone, I said maybe she went to her father's geological survey, which is nearby.
If she escaped, that's... Yeah. Unless she was having the same dream as we had and went this way.
Would I know roughly where or how far down the road the site would be from here?
Give me navigation.
Okay, that's something I'm pretty good at.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so you know enough that you're like you were right that to think that they may be close. Exactly how close, though, hard to say.
The dreams do seem to be a common theme. It wouldn't be strange to think she may have continued this way.
With occult dreams, or like the dream things that I've read about, would I surmise that we should follow? Or would I surmise that it was a warning and not to follow?
I would say you'd be prone to the former, that to think that you should chase down the visions that you see in dreams that you believe to be telling you something.
So I should chase it down, right?
Yes, I would say that you would generally, unless the prophetic dream specifically told you not to do something, you'd probably be more likely to want to look into it.
Well, telling me not to do something by stabbing me in the chest is one thing, right?
That was different though. Like the yellow leaves was the more innocuous of the dreams.
Yeah. I mean,
They also have vehicles at the survey site. One passed us on our way here. I think you'll recall.
Well,
Cool.
at least that guy didn't seem too keen to lend a hand. Not sure how the rest of the workers would be.
There's always someone willing to do it for money.
Regardless, vehicles might not get us any closer to her.
Do we not want to investigate the source of our dreams? Like, we should go this way. And if she made it to the survey,
I'm simply suggesting we check with the survey first and return here in vehicle if it is not.
They know we're looking for her, so would they not have sent a party out to let us know, hey guys, she's safe?
Regardless, we have dallied long enough in these woods that it's just seek out the girl, get her to safety, and be done with it. This is drawn on long enough.
Agreed.
If we must go to the source of the strange dreams, then let us at least see what they are caused by and deal with this supernatural business once and for all. I, for one, am growing quite tired of it.
Well, they know we're looking for her. Maybe these dreams are a clue to where she is. Maybe we'll link that way.
I say we put it to a vote. Those in favor of the geological site say aye.
Aye.
I say both. Starting with the geological survey.
I'll take that as aye for the geological at least. Those in favor for the dream path say aye.
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 3-2. I'm good at math.
Make a math roll.
Make an accounting roll.
Well,
I think less of either of you if you decide to head down the road to what may be the safer course, but I, for one, must see this through.
There is safety in numbers, and if 3 of you are to delve into the belly of this beast that we face immediately, then I shall follow.
Think of it, Benjamin. We're getting close to the occult, the answers we're looking for.
Oh, I was agreed either way. I simply wished to do both.
I mean, 2 of you.
Let's go.
Okay.
You've voted. You've won.
All right. Well, I guess I'll lead and start heading down the path.
These elections are not so easily bought.
You guys make your way down the path, progressing along, walking through these fallen yellow leaves. The cloud cover oppressive as it seems closer than ever before. You make your way along through the barren trees amongst these leaves down this path. And then as you turn a corner just to the left-hand side, something familiar pops through into your vision. You see a cabin appearing in the woods. This cabin, though, is familiar. It's particularly familiar to Mr. Brady and Mr. Baker. Miss Baker. Make sanity rolls.
Oh no.
Poor Brady.
God damn.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. We will end with that as Mr. Brady descends into another bout of madness.
Sweet.
You can make me. Hold on. So, how much did you lose from? I think no. You wouldn't have lost because you can only lose a maximum of D6. You haven't lost your maximum of your D6 from this particular thing.
I've lost like it. I
Yeah,
think
well,
7 so far. This today.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to say that your mind is inured to the effects of this because you're only allowed to lose the maximum amount of insanity that is associated with the. So it's like a D6 that is associated with the cabin in the dream. Was it the cabin dream last night? I know it doesn't really matter though.
It was
Okay.
there was the cat. He lost sanity from the cabin painting. I thought.
Yes, but hadn't because he had also previously seen the cabin dream.
He lost that on the first night, right?
Yes. That doesn't matter. Basically, is that if you've lost technically because we did one roll for both the cabin and the and the water in one single one, it's kind of a muddy situation. I didn't have him do two different rolls for that. I treated it as one single one. I'll give it to you, considering how bad it's been so far, and that your mind recoils at the sight of this cabin. But I will say that you feel yourself. I would say you feel yourself manifesting potentially the mania that is still plaguing you, but it is not going to drive you off into a bout of madness at this point. I would say that I deeply encourage you to role play the mania in the coming hours of the game as it continues to play out. But I'm not going to force you into another bout of madness, considering how badly beaten down you've been so far in terms of.
Yeah. It's hard to know like how to role play him since he's gone off on such a tangent.
Yeah, it's really up to you to like decide.
Yeah.
Again, the book 100% reinforces that to be like it's up to you. Like, do you go all out and just are like my character's like totally crazy for a while and the group has to like figure it out, or do you like go completely the other direction or somewhere in between? Like, because it's totally fair that maybe your character is quite able to deal with this now that the bout of madness is over and like you're just like forcing your way and gritting your teeth and getting through it.
My first character could have helped you because I was maxed out in psychoanalysis, but this guy, nope.
That also takes like a month. You can't just psychoanalyze somebody on the spot and be like, "Quick, tell me about your bond with your father."
All those TV shows and movies. 5 minutes on the screen. Oh, all better.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, we're 11 o'clock now. I will say that you guys, after Mr. Brady's initial reaction and a brief shout, you all put together that this must be the cabin that has been in the dreams. You walk forward towards what seems to be a completely empty cabin, arriving at the door, and we will end it there for the night.